All right, you guys, welcome to Edel, my little corner of the internet, where we talk about topics that help us get better. I reside in the middle of nature, so if you hear any birds cooing or if you see any squirrels behind me, don't be alarmed. Those are my little friends. So, on today's episode, I want us to talk about low self worth. I've got a video that is very interesting. And before I make any further comments, let's give this a go.
I'll be the first to admit, I got cosmetic surgery to keep a man. So I'm gonna do a quick story time of why I got cosmetic surgery in order to keep my husband. So when I first got married, I thought that I was my husband's type. I thought that he was attracted to me because he said he was. But throughout our marriage, he would always tell me how he was attracted to BBW women, more full-figured, voluptuous women. I was pretty young, so I didn't really realize that he was kind of grooming me to get comfortable with the idea of him talking about other women, which later led to him asking if we wanted to be poly. He would send me a lot of different pictures on Instagram of different Instagram models who had BBLs, who had their butts really big, and he would say things like, "You will look so good like this." Something in my spirit didn't feel well when he used to send me these things, but I wanted to just go along with it, be the cool wife. He would give these backhanded compliments like, "You are my dream woman, you look so good, but imagine if you got this surgery done to your butt." He would say it so often that I began to believe that I needed it. And I would also start looking at these other women's like, okay, this is my husband's type. This is who I'm going to be with forever. I might as well give him what he wants. I was programmed to believe that because I was married, I had to give him what he wanted. So I convinced myself that I actually wanted the surgery for myself. I started looking in the mirror like, wow, April, yes, you'll look so good if your stomach was much flatter and your butt was wider and if you finally had some hips. The brainwashing was real. I began to become really consumed by the thoughts of getting this surgery in order to please him. So I went ahead and did it. He was happy with the results, but that didn't stop there. My BBL surgery was the worst pain I've ever endured. It was actually worse than all 3 of my labors with my children. He did not care. Even though he waited on me hand and foot and he saw how much pain I was in every day, he proceeded to ask me the very first week of recovery, will I be willing to go through a round 2? Meaning take more fat out and transfer it again before I'm even done healing. And here I am, 1 week in recovery, wondering about getting a second round BBL just to keep him happy. There is much more to this story that I can add, so let me know if you want a part 2. But I came on here to say that if your goal is to try to satisfy the male ego, please stop. It's literally impossible. I am not saying that I am against plastic surgery. I'm just simply saying never get it to satisfy the male ego because it is impossible. I've been so hesitant about making this video because obviously it's super vulnerable, but someone needed to hear this. I just want to reassure you that your husband, your soulmate, your divine masculine that God has made for you, he would never ask you to change anything about yourself. If you decide to change anything about your physical appearance, he will support you, yes, but he would never make it seem like it's an absolute necessity. Don't let yourself be persuaded like I did, because if this was my decision, my surgery would have probably came out much better. I would have went to the doctor I actually wanted to. I would have spent more time doing more research. I would have healed properly because I would have got all the massages I was supposed to get. My healing process has not been the best. And I know it's because this was totally out of alignment with who I really am. So I'm not against plastic surgery. There's work that I'll still do, but make sure you're doing it for you.
Now, I'm not convinced that she's not against plastic surgery as a person. I sort of feel like she has convinced herself that she actually likes it. This is unfortunate. I'm really not convinced at all that as a person, she would have even gone that route. But probably she wants to do, a fixer. Maybe she wants to fix things that she never wanted to get. So I would look at it that way. Now, I was thinking recently, in the last couple of months, it dawned on me that probably in this day and age that we are, I think it would be best if we took time before getting into relationships. I mean, like in the 20s, I don't really think it is the time when one would say that I've met my life partner and we're going to live the rest of our lives together. I'm just talking about where we are as a society. Back in the day, I can see how it worked because you meet with your high school sweetheart or you meet someone in college and you grow each other, you evolve together, and you appreciate the journey that you're going on. But we are in a day and age where there's so much going on, meaning that we have so much exposure to the whole world, and there's now so many options all of a sudden. Before, it was just the person in your town, and that's as much as you had access to. And if maybe you went to college somewhere else, that was the maximum that you knew, that was the options that you had. But now you have the whole world at your fingertips, and you're thinking, oh, I need to, maybe upgrade my taste and get different people from all over the world, and it doesn't align anymore with just a life that wasn't open to all the possibilities. And I'm seeing in the recent past a lot of people that have gotten together in their 20s, unfortunately, by the time they're in their 30s, early 30s actually, they're divorcing. And it is because initially, first of all, I don't think they were compatible. It is this rush to get somebody and to try and set up a home and sort of mimic what we saw our grandparents doing and some of our parents doing, those that stayed in the marriage. So there's conflict somewhere within the two realities, where there's what you have seen and you want to mimic, and there's also the new life that we are all open to, where there's so much going on that nobody wants to be left behind. So that is really what I was thinking, and I thought, I think it would be important that we spend the 20s healing ourselves, getting to know exactly who we are, healing insecurities, limiting beliefs, and then you evolve and actually find someone that has also done the work. So now you're compatible. I'm not saying that people shouldn't date, but I'm just thinking, making a commitment like this is my life partner and bringing kids into the equation. And in 10 years' time, you're breaking up, you have little children, it stresses the children. And I also see children that come from a broken home usually tend to sometimes side with one partner and have resentment towards the other partner, thinking the other partner is the reason why there's the breakup. So there's a lot of issues that if we sat down and understood where we are as a collective, it would be easier for us to make the right decisions. That doesn't mean you're being left behind just because you're not married. It's just that we are like tweaking into the actual reality that we're living in, so that we avoid all these early divorces, all this staying in a marriage just because now you have to prove that you can make it till the end. It's really not fair to anybody. It's not fair to either partner, and it's also not fair to the children that we bring into the world. Usually children that come from a loving home that has the two parents have the highest chances of growing up into adults that have lived a full childhood. They don't end up being children, adults that have to heal from their childhood. And I mean two healthy adults. I'm not talking about being in a toxic relationship or marriage and just to say this is just for the children. Look at her case, for example. I think that if she would have worked on her insecurities and the things that she probably wasn't confident about herself, she would not have found herself in a position where a person is telling you to go and do a BBL and you're saying it clearly that it's not in your spirit and you end up doing it. She would not have done it, period. but she needed time to grow into herself, to blossom, and to have her boundaries, and to find someone that loves her as she is. And I really I sense so deeply, and I repeat again, I don't think she comes off to me as a person that would have said that she wants a surgery. She went also ahead to say, oh, maybe April, it's time for you to finally have hips. It doesn't appear to me like it's something that she had thought as a person. She was just okay with herself until all these ideas were planted into her head, and there she was. And I'm even surprised that this person has no respect for his wife to the point where he's asking her to open up the marriage and have a polyamorous marriage. It's just so insane. And in my observation and opinion, I always find that the men that do this, they actually have a lower esteem than the woman themselves. They have such low sense of self that they treat their partner like a project, or like something that needs to be shown off. It's like them having a car. So he has such debilitating self-esteem that he has to have a person that is not even, you don't even see this person like normal looking. And I'm sorry to say this, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it's just an obsession. Like the way she's saying, she's gotten off the first surgery and the guy is like, let's pump it up one more time, come on. I'm sorry. It's insane to me. It's mind-blowing. So you'll always find a person like this has not worked on himself. He needs to work on himself, and that's why I'm suggesting that we should take a little bit of time. Time is not going anywhere. You have all the time. So learn who you are, learn who your partner is, and don't be with someone that is clearly disrespecting you, because it won't stop. It'll be BBL, then it'll be breasts, and then it'll be the lips. You'll just really, at the end of it, you'll not even recognize yourself. And this idea that we are always doing things for other people and not ourselves, it's imperative that we take time to have meetings with ourselves and really understand who we are. And it doesn't happen when we are in our early 20s. So let's give this some thought. And also as parents, let's raise our children and feed them with love and validate them so that they don't find themselves in a position where they have to do all these kind of things for external validation, because it's not only women that are going through surgeries. Men are doing extreme things, pumping up themselves with all this silicone and really just having this image that they can't see that they're not looking acceptable. I'm trying to use words very carefully here, but we have to be better parents. Let's teach our children to love themselves. Let's encourage them as they're growing up. Let's speak on their positives. Let's really make it that by the time they're dating, even if somebody tells them something, they'll just be like, what are you talking about? Because you've known all your life that you're beautiful, you're handsome, you have a beautiful, let me not get into specifics. So it's also our responsibility as parents to raise kids that are confident in themselves. By the time they're in the world, it's like, I know who I am. You're not going to confuse me with who you think I need to be. You're not going to tell me who you think I need to be. So that's it for now. Thank you so much for being here. Share your thoughts with me in the comments. Remember, you're not broken, you're not damaged, you're not unlovable, you're not too old, you're not too far gone, and it's definitely not too late. Start where you are. You've got this. And I'll see you next time. Mwah.